In the world, there are actually 700 million such people who live on less than $2 a day. AI, data centers, all these industries are consuming massive amounts of electricity. Solar just doesn't have the energy density to do so. To solve all of these problems, you have to just come in now and try to solve all of these with like just one simple solution. In the next 10 years, we hope to at least reduce the carbon dioxide emissions by 1 gigaton. If your idea then satisfies the need for the user, then I'd say never give up and actually try to bring that impact in their lives.
So we'll move on to like more to ask about more personal aspect and your and Incy Tech's vision.
Sure.
So first, why do you believe renewable energy and especially solar thermal is important now?
Okay. Uh, so this again relates back to my hometown, right? Know we know that there is a shortage of electricity, but to understand that reality on ground is another thing. Uh, Near my community where I live in, there are a lot of informal settlements, people living day to day with very small wages. And in the world, there are actually 700 million such people who live on less than $2 a day. Living on less than $2 a day might sound like a number, but it's a harsh reality for them. They have no electricity, can barely make out their food, and how they access electricity is through very unconventional methods. These people actually consume most of the electricity by informal ways. So the government can't account for where electricity is going, while these people can be using them. And not paying for it, right? So, making these people afford electricity on their own is also a huge task. While on the other side of the world, while these people might be suffering, AI, data centers, all these industries are consuming massive amounts of electricity. And these industries also need that electricity, right? So both communities are just fighting for the same amount of electricity, which we have very limited of right now. We have solar right now, yes, but solar can only expand so much in areas. Can these people afford solar? No. But can they one day hopefully afford these thermal devices? Maybe, yes. We hope to power these communities with devices so that the world can, not have this electricity shortage. We're also trying to power the other areas like AI's data centers, because AI data centers, all of them are expanding right now due to the huge boom in AI. So someone will need to power that, and solar just doesn't have the energy density to do so. Uh, in just the case of Singapore, our government has made the government has made this plan of uh, renewable energy 30 by 2030, which is produce 30 gigawatts by 2030 by just renewable sources. But even doing that is impossible in Singapore, because even if you cover like the entire land of Singapore with solar panels, you'll still not be enough to make that 30 gigawatts, because Singapore is such a small area that you just can't produce enough energy out of it from just solar because of the poor energy density. So you have to look forward to other mechanisms, like other areas that you have, like the water. And that's where, to solve all of these problems, you have to just come in now uh, and try to solve all of these with like just one simple solution.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is, how do you balance startup work with studies?
Uh, that's actually quite difficult of all the questions you asked, because it's as a student, you have to focus on your academics, grades,
Mhm.
whereas some investors might be putting pressure on you to, hey, you haven't done this work until now. So it's a fine line between managing startup and academic. Although um, I am not able to manage it as well, I focus more on my startup and studies because I feel like for me, I feel like there's more benefit uh, or like this uh, larger recurring, how do you say this? Uh, I feel like there's an exponential growth that I can achieve with my startup. Uh, and I still want to keep studies as a backup. Let's say if the startup doesn't go well, I still have my degree to, let's say, do a job one day. But
Mm.
I feel like the startup has enough potential uh, to grow exponentially, and that's what I want to put my focus on, my energy on, to achieve that exponential growth. And my schedule isn't good either. I go like do my classes in the morning and then work on startup till night. So it's just how you have to deal with it. There's no other way around it. Uh, I could potentially consider dropping off to just focus full time on the startup, but again, having a backup option is always good. Studies are, always important to keep a backup option, and yeah, uh, so it's just a fine line that you have to manage, and it's not something that I mean, it's individual for everyone, so it's not a generalized thing that I could say to help everyone. So everyone just has to manage in their own ways. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, the next question is, what has been the most fulfilling moment in your journey so far?
Uh, there have been two actually. So one was when we achieved the high energy density in lab. So the moment we achieved like, oh, we can actually convert this much amount of electricity from just this small area. That was like a eureka moment, right? Like couldn't believe that this something like this is actually possible. So I had to recheck my calculations twice and thrice to see, oh, so yes, this can actually work. So that was the first eureka moment that led us into building this. Then the second eureka moment, I'd say, was when we got funding from NUS, right? Like someone that actually believes in this idea. Uh, we hadn't gotten any funds for 2 years for in the time that I was building. I was just funding this idea from my own pockets because most people doubted this idea that, hey, this idea cannot work. You cannot produce more energy than solar panels. So you'll always face challenges. You'll always face, but I chose to be resilient and just push through their opinions. And even though we didn't get any grants or funding, it was 3 years until we got any funding. No funding, I was just putting money in it from my own pockets. So I had to do academics, earn, and the startup while while building this. So those were difficult moments. But the day that NUS recognized potential in us and decided to put some money in it, that was the second most fulfilling day, to recognize that someone other than me would believe in this idea to bet money on it. And that was, yeah, I'd say also really fulfilling.
Yeah, like that 2 or 3 years without any funding must be hard and tough days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So, how do you envision NC Tech making an impact in the next 10 years?
Right. So, we want to hopefully power the majority of floating solar. So instead of having floating solar panels, like floating PV, we want to almost replace that with our technology. Either almost replace that or have a majority in it, right? But as for actual impact, in the next 10 years, we hope to at least reduce the carbon dioxide emissions by 1 gigaton. So reduce the like we have set target goals that if I have to deploy enough of these to reduce carbon emissions by 1 gigaton at least. And not just the numbers, we want to actually be going out to people like the communities that I mentioned. We want to, let's say, give 100 of these and deploy it in the community in partner with the governments. So both the governments or the power utilities in those areas will have to come into play for us to deploy these devices in those communities that actually lack electricity and then power these communities. So we at least hope to power 20 to 30,000 of those people, at least, with these devices in the next 10 years. And uh, that is one side of the business side. So just powering those communities. The other side, targeting the more industrial areas, the data centers, the infrastructure, the factories, all of them. So in that area, we hope to at least be powering like 10 to 20 megawatts of electricity with our thermal floaters in those areas. Uh, so 10 to 20 megawatts would uh, it's still a small goal, but considering the runway and the long times required for this, I'd say that's a pretty good goal for us to aim towards and power all these machines and data centers. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so moving on, we're gonna talk about more like the future after you release your product and like your vision, and what are your short-term goals over like the next 10 years or
Right.
after you release that product?
Got it. So our main goals right now is one is to actually release it. So that's of course a goal. But our main goals after releasing it is uh region by region. So first we want to dep have like a large deployment, at least 1 megawatt to 2 megawatt deployment in Singapore. And then after we have that, we want to start expanding to other areas. So we want to expand to from Singapore, then expand to other areas in Southeast Asia, like Philippines, India, Myanmar, Indonesia, Malaysia, all these countries with large access to water bodies. So we want to then expand to Southeast Asia. Then after Southeast Asia, we want to expand to just East Asia in general, including Japan, Korea, China, all of these regions. And then from that, you want to expand into the slowly into Europe, America. So that's our sort of expansion goals, how you want to go, how you want to go for the to expand these in different regions. Uh, if you are asking me numeric goals, then as I mentioned, 20 megawatts, somehow doing it by the next 10 years. So whatever regions you might expand into, combined, you want to just target that 10 megawatt goal. Uh, and also we want to be expanding our team, not just located in Singapore, but hopefully located all across the regions that we are targeting, and just expanding our team. Right now we have a team of about 8 people. So we want to be expanding that to at least 20 people, 20, 25 people, if we want to be doing this on larger scale. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So lastly, we want to ask you about if you have anything you'd like to say to other young innovators watching this interview.
Uh, One is this cliche line, right? Don't give up, right? But I would say sometimes giving up can also be a good idea to figure out at what point you need to give up. So, I still haven't recognized a point in my idea to give up, but I've seen others go on with ideas that don't actually mean good for the people. So I have seen some people with ideas that don't act like cannot actually benefit anyone. So people just keep building these ideas on and on without actually talking to people who will be using them. So in that case, I'd say do not work on your idea if you have not talked to any of your users. But for people who actually want to build something and then go talk to the users who are actually understanding if actually understanding what the users want, what the people want to use, and if your idea then satisfies that need, if your idea then satisfies the need for the user, then I'd say never give up. Then you cannot give up on your idea if a few people are actually interested in it and would use it uh, to actually create a difference in their lives. I'd say then you shouldn't give up and actually try to bring that impact in their lives. Yeah.
Thank you, very inspiring. So this completes the interview. Thanks again for Mr. Sparse for joining us. And yeah,
Thank you
thanks
so much for
for,
having me.
yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching
you.
this video. So that's bye.
Bye.